my name's Artemis, and today we're going to talk about Popufurs and Popufurity, only this time, things are going to be a little bit different. You see, I strongly believe in the concept of personal growth and development, the ability to change your views and opinions based on new experiences and evidence that is presented towards you. Otherwise, you just fall into the trap of stagnation and you never really develop and change and grow as a person. And hell, you could even develop a confirmation bias where you have this one idea that you just cannot break free from, and then you're linking evidence to support it, and it will never ever go away. And I don't like that, and I don't want to fall into that, and that's kind of where I believe I might have been once, but I'm gonna break out of. So, yeah, today we're gonna have a little bit of a look into the myth of Popufurity and whether or not they actually exist the way so many of us think they do. First off, I am not going to shy away from that video that I made some long while back, completely tearing apart the entire concept of Popufurity and Popufurs. You see, what I said in that was quite researched, and I still stand by it. I believe it was plausible and, of course, possible. But I don't believe that it is applicable anymore, or perhaps maybe it never was. Now, the general assumption of a Popufur is that they are narcissistic sycophants entirely aimed towards growing themselves, their channel, and chasing clout by only hanging out with other Popufurs in their own elitist cliques. They are the upper class, the aristocracy, the really very important figures above all else. And it seems all you really need to be classified as one is a following, be that on Twitter, YouTube, Grindr, whatever. Now, it can also be a sarcastic and satirical phrase used only to poke jest at people, and honestly, I for a long time thought that was how everybody viewed it, but obviously it's not, and some people do use it as a serious indictment on others. So if you had to boil down your stereotypical Popufur behavioural traits, what exactly would they be? Well, there would be someone with a big following, typically only hanging around with other people in that same position, only really caring about their views, their sub counts, their follower counts, and consistently creating content only with their friends, you know, only collaborating with that few select elitist individuals. They barely respond to anyone else's messages or comments, and only those with a certain amount of followers and therefore importance to their mind will actually get any attention from them. Does any of this sound familiar? Of course it fucking does. It's the long-held beliefs of an entire fandom. But is any of that actually true? And is there really a big group of individuals who deliberately act this way in some giant furry conspiracy? Okay, breaking down the most basic idea of a Popufur, yes, they do exist. There are furries in this fandom who are popular. Breaking it down to the extremely negative stereotype I just detailed in the previous segment, does that exist? Well, those behavioural traits aren't exactly exclusive to the furry fandom. They are human behaviour traits that I'm sure you could find amongst many people. So, is it possible that there are individuals like that within our fandom? Yes, of course it is. Could I personally name any? No, I could not. The very big question here is, why does this Popufur stereotype exist, and why is it Majira? And the very simple answer is no. And it's not. I don't really know why people always assume that he's like that. I honest to dog do not believe that anybody who has been labelled as a Popufur is doing anything deliberately, consciously to be a Popufur. I just frankly do not see any evidence that they are deliberately doing the things that people assume they are doing for clout. And don't worry, I will get to the portion of the video where I explain exactly why that is. Now, it seems to me that these are the traits that will get you branded as a Popufur, with people blasting you on social media with complaints such as, oh, why does he only hang out with other Popufurs and no one else? And hell, it seems like just one of these traits is enough to get you tarred for life. But it does also seem to me that these traits are based largely on people's warped perspective and their own expectancies of other people. And maybe if you were to change your perspective, you might just be able to see what is actually going on here. These assumptions are born from a simple lack of understanding from the other person's viewpoint. It seems to me that people are constantly looking at something and viewing it that that's the only way it can be, but there's not just one way to tell a story, and every coin has two sides, or three technically if there's the bit around the edge. So why don't we break all these down and explain what exactly could be going on rather than just immediately assuming the worst. They only care about sub counts and likes. Well, yeah, people do tend to assume that they are just chasing clout for clout's sake and all they want is attention. And yep, I can see why you would think that, but let's flip that on its head a little bit. For a lot of us, this entire thing is a business. This is our form of employment and more importantly, our form of income that allows us to actually live a life. Now, you don't get pissy at movies for releasing movie trailers and putting posters up and promoting themselves. You don't get shitty at comedians for going on tour, for instance, or for going on talk shows and plugging their DVDs. So why is it so bad? Why do we have to vilify people on YouTube for trying to maybe push a bit of attention towards their Patreon, towards the things that do actually earn them money? This isn't something personal. These aren't personalities that are here designed to be your own personal best friend. This is a business. People need to survive and they have to run things as such. Now, I do understand that it's easy to develop an almost personal bond with these personalities that you see on social media, and it does hurt a little bit when it does come across as a bit more of a, oh, please like, share and subscribe. But honestly, if you can see this from a business standpoint, this one kind of puts itself to bed. They only hang out with other Popufurs. Well, content creation is one hell of an involved process that brings with it some very unique stresses and pressures that only those who also engage in content creation are going to really fully understand. So when you find people like that who understand exactly what you're going through, you're going to spend more time with them. If you want to build your projects and you are noticing that others are having fun building theirs, you want to be a part, then of course you're going to sort of communicate back and forth and you're going to hang out with them more often. If you're making projects together, if you're meeting up at conventions and filming stuff and having a good time, then that's you forming a bond. You're going to form that bond. You're going to find friendship with these like-minded individuals that are doing some of the same things that you're doing. And honestly, forming friendship bonds with people over things that you share an interest in, that is what the entire fucking fandom is based around. It's not about the fame. It's not about what they can do for each other's channel, because they build that friendship. And at that point, the fame, the clout, whatever you want to call it, it's immaterial. It is secondary. In fact, it's not even noticeable. They're friends. Chill the fuck out. They never respond to anyone unless they're famous. Okay. Do any of you have any idea just how involved this content creation process can be? Do you have any idea how hard it is to consistently keep coming up with ideas, filming them, editing them, uploading them to a schedule, but also trying to make them engaging and hope that they drive business upwards so you can continue to earn money and survive? You then want to add into that running a successful and engaging social media presence across various platforms such as Furaffinity, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, amongst other things like Snapchat and TikTok, and that's one hell of a heavy workload. Add to that, actual real life shit, like most of us have a second fucking job, and it can become really fucking easy to understand how not everybody is going to be able to be at the end of a phone or end of a computer and respond to every single message. Now, I know it hurts. I know that you want to share your enjoyment of this content. You want to say to this person who perhaps means something to you that they mean something to you. You want to let that known, and yeah, it can hurt sometimes if you don't get a response, but think about it this way. You might just be that one person that is just sending a message, hi, I really enjoy your content. Please keep doing up the good work and I love it so much. But you could be one of 50 that hour where someone is working a double shift, where they are stressing the fuck out. It's not a matter of not responding to people because they're famous. It's a matter of the sheer fucking number of messages they have to deal with. Also, how the fuck do you respond to 50 messages all saying, hi, in a day? Like, let's be honest, not everybody actually is messaging for a point. This lack of understanding and empathy is really the keystone of the Popufur myth. It is the crux of why all of this exists in the first place. It seems like it's so easy for all of us to believe that success and fame is something that turns people into being arrogant fucking assholes, and Yeah, I know it's appeared in a lot of films and TV and media that a character will go down that path, but we can't just assume people are doing that. But ask yourself this question. If you took away the numbers, you took away the sub counts, the views, the followers, the likes, everything about it, then would you be just as fucking angry at these people? Would you still be labeling them as this horrible term that we have built? I mean, could you really claim that someone is not talking to you if you're not popular, if they themselves are not popular enough? Or is it possible that a lot of this is just born out of numbers? It's just born out of success, of fame, of rising up and building a business and a channel and a presence. Honestly, that seems to be what really tips the balance here, because when you take that away, no one really seems to have that much of an issue. I feel we sometimes get a very blinkered view in this fandom of people having success and being branded a Popufur. You got things like just messaging a Popufur if you are a YouTuber is selling out. And yeah, it all sucks that the assumptions flow in this direction, but I do think it is human nature. Perhaps there's an element of jealousy with it. You know, these people that we so desperately want to be friends with just don't seem to be giving us the time and attention that we feel we are deserving of. Perhaps it's just pessimism. I mean, nobody could ever get that big on their own. They must be kissing someone's ass. Sometimes I believe that it is the same idea of crab mentality. If you're unfamiliar, here's the example. If you put crabs in a bucket and one begins to climb out, the others will pull it back in. Not because they gain anything by doing that, not because it aids in their escape, but it is the simple methodology of, if I can't have it, you can't have it. I don't want to throw aspersions here and say that everybody who ever branded anyone as a Popufur is that exact kind of negative stereotype, but can't ignore the fact that there must be a couple of people, at least, who are operating in that capacity. And again, that's not to say that everybody is a fucking asshole for thinking the way they think. Everybody's going to have their own take about this concept, and I'd say, okay, that is absolutely fine. That is the way we should all be. It would be boring if we all thought the same thing. Now, before I leave you, I just want to acknowledge that I have said a lot of shit in this video, which massively contradicts a lot of the stuff I have said in the past. And yeah, it probably makes me look like a massive hypocrite, and to that, I say, good. Now, honestly, I don't care how I look, if I look like I'm pandering, because I'm not, if I look like I'm excusing shitty behaviours, because I'm not. I have been a part of the problem in sort of perpetuating this myth of what Popufurs are, and I have met people in my life who, ideally you would think, oh, they must be Popufur assholes, and they're not. They are people. Like, this is the whole point. I have developed my thought process on this, and I've developed my ideas of this, and have found that I don't think Popufurs actually exist the way I made a fucking 20-minute video claiming they do. Wise friend once told me to give everybody a blank slate, and if they want to scribble all over it and make it a mess afterwards, then that's their business. But you give them the benefit of the doubt to begin with. You take away your assumptions from someone that you haven't met, because that is fair. And that very good, very wise friend has never steered me wrong before, and, you know, I'm pretty happy that he gave me that advice, because it helped me fight down this, honestly, pissy attitude that I had about people who had success. If you stay thinking the same thing your entire life, then you have wasted your life. If your thoughts never change, never develop, if you can't change your mind, then there is something wrong there. You can't live your entire life believing one thing and only one thing. It's a journey, it's a development, and opening your mind up to new ideas, taking on new evidence and experiences, and letting that alter the way you perceive the world, that's the best shit there is. At the end of the day, everybody who ever got anywhere on YouTube started out the exact same way. They started out as someone who was making something that they enjoyed, something that they liked, driven by passion. They continued to do that. They kept doing it because it was fun, because people seemed to enjoy it. They wanted to help. Perhaps they had a message that they wanted to get across, help other people in their life, or they just thought, fuck it, this is really fun to just keep making crap. I'm going to keep making crap. And holy shit, it took off. And most of the time, these people are just as surprised as anybody else, because that was never the goal. That was never the whole point, was to get big and famous and rich. And it's always a bit of a surprise if anybody comes close to that. And they didn't deliberately set out for that. They are most of the time pretty baffled by it themselves as well. Ultimately, they took a leap and they just landed somewhere they never really expected to land. Can we really blame them for that? Can we really hold it against them that they tried something and succeeded? I don't think we can. Maybe, just maybe, we should give them that blank slate, take away our assumptions, and remember that those assumptions could just be bullshit.